There you are. Scared me. All right, so in previous videos, we covered why remembering time feels elastic and controllable, why the present feels bandwidth constrained. Today, we're tackling maybe the weirdest of the three, why imagining the future usually feels like flat, jumpy, low detail, more like a slideshow, disconnected scenes, why it doesn't feel like you're actually there in it, but it does feel that way when you remember things, and it does feel that way even more probably when you're in the moment. Although that's curious. Let me know if you feel like you feel more embodied in present time on average, or when remembering things. Like which one? I could see an argument for both. The reason is simple once you see the underlying constraint, right? The future horizon, reconstruction events are pattern generated without live sensory grounding. You've heard me say that before. You're not pulling from like a fixed stored memories, right? And then rebuilding things. You're not responding to real things happening around you right now. And that causes you to have to compute what is going on and then put that together into something that makes sense. Instead, your brain is combining the old memories, the learned patterns, like whatever those look like, and the causal models to construct possible future states, right? These are not things that are guaranteed to happen. These are not things that are going to happen, at least not perfectly as you generate them. This is a simulation, right? Because there's no continuous stream of real world data coming in. There's nothing forcing to smooth the continuity between one imagined scene and the next, right? You could have just imagined anything you want. Um, so you could imagine Godzilla coming into your town and trampling down your house. You just thought of that right now as I said it. So we're amazing the things that we can kind of construct. Um, the result is naturally more episodic and lower fidelity. You don't really want your future to be too high fidelity, because then you could imagine things that haven't happened, and just thinking about them would cause you to be able to put high fidelity memories in your storage bank, which would make it harder to keep track of what was real versus what wasn't real. Um, and you could actually think that Godzilla did. You could have experienced, right, like first person Godzilla trampling your house, and that could be catastrophic and very, traumatic. Nonetheless, this is why we have the script. Try stay on the script. All right, this explains several well-known features of thinking, right? Of future thinking. Future imagination is less vivid and detailed than episodic memory of similar events. It is often feels like flipping through slides, like me at the job, me living in the city, me with my future family, within like a continuous movie. The emotional tone is often weaker or more abstract. This isn't a flaw of your imagination. It's exactly what you expect and what you want because of the little spiel I just went on. The past was originally encoded against a real sensory stream, which stitched everything together. And the future has no such grounding signal, right? We can kind of just think about things that aren't even conceptually real, um, or at least not physically real. Practical implications. This mechanism has big real world consequences. It explains why future anxiety often feels vague and harder to pin down. You're getting disconnected snapshots rather than a coherent flow. It makes long term planning difficult because the future doesn't feel real the same way that the past does. You don't have the stake in it, which is why you can tell your friend that you're going to make a YouTube channel and that you're going to put out a certain video, and then you don't do it, and all of a sudden it's like that never happened because there's not like the emotional attachment there that it would be, normally, or with other situations. It helps explain why people are often bad at effective forecasting, predicting how they'll feel in the future. The simulation lacks the rich detail needed for accurate emotional preview. When you imagine it going in your head, it's kind of like suppressed in the amount that you feel about it. Now, don't get me wrong, you can think about something and get extremely pissed off, but it's usually because it's tied to something from a past event and you're re-triggering a past memory more mechanically, like, and that's causing this like oof, actually physically getting worked up, right? But I would say when you're thinking about most situations that don't have like a deep emotional core that you're hitting on, it's going to feel less real. In a very literal sense, right? It is being constructed with less grounding information. So to recap the whole series, right? The past is self-generated reconstruction. It's elastic and controllable. The present is prediction error driven and is bandwidth constrained. The future is like pattern generated reconstruction, and it's low fidelity and episodic, and that's good because we don't want things that never happened in the future to become things that we believe already did happen in the past. You want to be able to separate these three states and to always be able to keep them separate, right? If they collapse into one, that would probably give us an experience much more like what a traditional animal or mammal, has for an experience of time, where it seems like they're always kind of operating in the current, in the present, and that they don't learn as much from things that happened in the past. Not that they can't learn; it's just a different relationship with that learning. And I think I just covered those. So the framework doesn't just explain everyday quirks of time, right? It gives us better tools for understanding rumination, flow states, anxiety, trauma related time distortions, and how we plan or fail to plan for the future. If this series shifted how you think about time, I'd love to hear in the comments which of the three horizons feels most different or difficult for you. Um, I'll possibly put my essay on the topic, right? That kind of preempted these in the comments. And so people can kind of read the entire essay and let me know if you thought this all could have been one video and how long or painful that would have been. And this is going to give us the ability to make testable predictions and kind of talk about why this essay matters. Why even listen to this, right? Beyond entertainment. Thank you so much for your time.